about that now.
Welcome, everyone. This is the Progressive Minds Show. My name is Sena, a.k.a. Alinko. Today is 11/12/2024, and we are glad to be coming your way. Last week, was it last week? Yeah, last week, 7th, that was November 7th. There was a historic U.S. elections that was held in this country, and we all were amazed by the results. So this evening we'll be getting into some of the reasons why, whether you are African, whether you belong to the African diaspora community, whether you're Black, just getting different perspectives from the diaspora community as to what this victory for Donald Trump means to the regular American and, of course, to the world. And we might be able. We will also get into why some people, and we know that a lot of people within the African community also voted for Trump, in spite of all the name calling and the negative connotations that was ascribed to his candidacy and to his party. And so stay with us as we get into the conversation. I'll be introducing my guest very soon. My name is Sena, aka Alinko, and this is the Progressive Mind Show, the #1 community building show in Chicago. We'll go to our audience this evening so we can get the conversation going. Looks like we lost Fanta. Hopefully we can get it back into it. Tres, you are not a stranger on the show. Last week we had you on here. You gave your remarks regarding the elections. Tyrone Mohammed is also you were also here a week before the elections, gentlemen. And then Roman, I think it's been a while since you've been on the show, so I'll start from the top again with a quick intro. Tell us who you are so we can get into the meat of things. We'll start from Tres. Go ahead, please.
My name is Tres. That's the name I go by. I live in Illinois, so like you said, I've not been a stranger to the show from our days at WGFC. I dabble in a lot of things. I work in healthcare. I own a few businesses, an African grocery store, and I'm also I would consider myself an activist, but not in the sense of most activists in the area. That's a little bit about me, really.
Thank you, Tres, for that brief introduction. Tyrone, please.
How you doing? And hello to everybody online. My name is Tyrone Muhammad. I'm the executive director for ECCSC, that's Ex-Cons for Community and Social Change, and I'm also the founder of Ex-Cons for Trump, just a political organization pushing the narrative to say that for 60 years we've consistently voted Democratic and to no avail. And this is like an affront. The Ex-Con for Trump is an affront and a push against the establishment in an effort to make them hear us, and as well as make them to see that Ex-Cons have a vote too in this country.
Thank you. And Roman Rowe, you are a renowned radio host in the city of Chicago. Please, a brief story about who you are, and not a story, but just tell us briefly about who you are and why you're here today.
Well, I'll make it brief and simple. Host of the Drive at 5 on intellectualradio.com/iHeart radio station. I'm surprised Tori Muhammad didn't give his plug out for his radio show on intellectualradio.com, but that's in a nutshell. 5 p.m. Central Standard Time airs on Mondays.
Thank you. Can please give us a brief background about who you are and why you're here today.
Hi, my name is Miss Fanta. I live in Chicago, and I am in the hotel industry and also in healthcare field as well. So I'm new to this show, so I'm here to learn, and I'm here to give my insights about the election as well.
Fantastic. So before you all came in, before we started, we of course got to this point. The flyer or the message out there that we want to look into today is that President Trump President Trump's sweeping win across this country is a statement. It really is, because America decided on Donald Trump for a reason. And in spite of every name that has been thrown at him, in spite of all the negative attributions to him, the actually on mainstream media, it seemed like, you know, Hitler himself was going to become the next president of this country if people dare to vote for Donald Trump. At the end of the day, it wasn't only the swing states. Literally, the popular vote, 30 states of this country decided to go for Trump. The whole country was painted red. This is historic. Why did America decide to go for Donald Trump in spite of all the name calling and, like I said, this negative paint or negative characterization that was presented to the general public? And I'll start with we'll start at the top and we'll go just like we did with the introduction. TREIZE, you first. What statement do you think America made by voting for Donald Trump the way they did?
America made a statement that America needed to reset. America was off the cliff, and America needed a reset. Sometimes you need that hard reset when your electronic device is not working. Sometimes they tell you that go ahead and push that reset button and have it reset to factory setting. So this landslide victory, this mandate, essentially a mandate, the first of our lifetime, because Obama did not have a mandate per se. He just had the hype vote of being the first Black president. But Trump had a mandate, and his mandate is to reset America back to factory setting.
Thank you very much. TYRONE.
Well, I know that I can speak for Black men and men in general. So it seems that the Democratic Party was heavily engrossed and ingrained in pumping gender issues, transgender, and those types of issues, as well as abortion issues. These issues have not historically anyway been a part of the concerns and issues that Black men who's most unemployed, who die more than any other group of population in America, and who's more incarcerated than any group or people in this country. So to continue to push gender and then to turn around and push abortions as your number one message, 1 and 2 message on top of the educational system, that was pretty much, man, a strikeout for the Democratic Party, a real strikeout for particular populations and class and caste of individuals that didn't hear that message.
Thank you. TYRONE, Roman, you are a staunch Democrat and Kamala Harris follower or supporter. I mean, of course, what, in your view, what message was America sending to the world and to Americans?
Well, I would say I'm a supporter. I voted for Kamala Harris. I would say this, plain and simple. Yes, the American people have spoken, but I said, and I'm going to repeat it again, this was an ism vote. It was an ism vote, racism vote, sexism vote. And it just tells me that America was not ready to elect a Black woman, period. And we saw the same thing with Hillary Clinton. When it comes to society, when it comes to sexism and racism, I truly think that America overwhelmingly, particularly white men and Hispanics, said no, they do not want a Black woman to lead the free world. And it was just an ism vote. And ism means which side are you on? So basically what happened is they thought they had the white woman's vote, And what happened? They had a referendum on the ballot that says, does this state want to ratify or no with abortion? So they said, if I vote against the abortion thing or for the to stay for the abortion, I can vote for Donald Trump, and that will go along with their white husband. So it was an ism vote than anything else to me, and it was sexism and racism. They did not want a black woman to lead the free world. Period.
Okay, so thank you. So your statement is that America is sending a statement to the world and to Americans that they don't want a black woman or a woman to lead this country. That's great. Thank you for your point. Fanta, to you, what statement do you derive from this year's elections?
I mean, Donald Trump, like, he was the best candidate. And like, I mean, like he said, I mean, I think this is not the right time for a woman to run this country. I mean, Donald Trump have had experience. He been at the White House before. So he has planned for this country. So he needs to finish where he started.
So you think Americans went for experience and someone who has done a better job with the economy, and so that was a statement America is sending to both this country and to the world. That essentially is what you're saying. Thank you.
Yes.
So I think we all basically saying the same thing when it comes to why America voted. The statement that it's the implication of this vote, and the statement that is sending out to the world. Apart from our brother Romain, who says that this was about sexism or this was about ism, which means from his perspective, America is not ready for a woman. TREIZE, do you agree to what he said?
I think that brother Romain is outnumbered on the panel. It seems like there are three people that it seems like there are three people that are kind of like leaning towards Trump, and he's kind of.
But he's ready. He likes that though. I think he likes that. Okay. So he's
all right.
He prefers that. I'm joking though. I'm joking.
Yeah, but no, that's exactly where personally I want the Democrats to be, to not understand, to not take heed to the message that the American people have sent to them. They should look for reasons other than what the American people. They should blame everything but themselves. I want that exactly. I want this narrative of isms. I want them to blame sexism, racism, progressivism, liberal. I want them to blame all of these things so that they don't have time to do any retrospect. Because if they do a retrospect, they'll be able to see what the problem was. Like the brother
Romain.
Tyrone. He said, Brother Tyrone said that they've gone off with the whole transitioning our kids, abortion. Kamala Harris ran a campaign solely on abortion in a time when nobody was looking for abortion. In Illinois, abortion is very legal. Cannot run on those kind of tickets. So for me, I want Brother Romain to remain in the position where he is right now, and the rest of the Democratic Party to blame everything but themselves, so that Trump has 4 years to govern perfectly, and then he can then pass the mantle down to Vance, and then we can have 8 years to put in conservative values. We can have 8 years to recalibrate this country to the right direction, so that we have America leading the world again. We have America being on the map again, and we have America ultimately great again.
So, TREIZE, having said this, Tyrone, I know you need to respond you're about to do so, but I want to stay on TREIZE for a second because I know his time is limited with us. For an African, right? Why would you want Trump's policies? What do you think that is better for America now and for the future? And do you think that his actual presidency will be good for Africa, and why so?
Okay, I'm from Cameroon, right? I was born in Cameroon, and I've lived here for a very long time. So this is home now. So this America right now is home. As much as I'm still tied to the country I was born in. But I'll give you a simple scenario. in Cameroon, for example, Cameroon has a very anti-LGBT law, right? Very, very, one of those African countries are not pro-LGBT, right? And the Cameroonian parliament decided to write that law and say that a man and a woman cannot get married, for example. And immediately after that ratification, the Biden and Harris administration decided to send an ambassador, the U.S. ambassador to Cameroon, who happens to be a gay man. Now, I don't have any problems with homosexuality, but I'm saying that if the country has a law against LGBT people, it's right or it's wrong, that is their law. It's the law of that country. By sending, there are 7 or 9 African countries that are Namibia, South Africa, Angola, a bunch of other countries that are pro-LGBT, that they could have sent this type of ambassador to go and be an ambassador, right? By sending a gay man to go be an ambassador in a country that prohibits homosexuality, it's America specifically telling that country, we don't care about your laws, we don't respect your laws, and we definitely don't respect you. Trump is going to come, and I hope that Trump recalls that ambassador and send him to any of the other countries that would be more suited for his skill sets, so, or his life. So for me, it's a good thing so that African countries can be independent. Truly, African countries can have. This is what the youth are saying. We want a leader that speaks to us, that sees our strength, that understands us and gives us our freedoms, that does not talk down to us, does not throw out handouts and then controls us. So if you look at guys like Sam Johnson in Ghana, and they're pushing for leaders like Trump because they need an Africa that is self-sustaining, an Africa that can stand on its own, an Africa that can drive itself.
Being that you just said something about, you just spoken eloquently about the implication of this on Africa and why some African countries would love for Trump to be president for a long time, and even now. Fanta, you're from Africa too. What's your perspective? I don't know, I think it's Congo or Sierra Leone, but as an African who lives in America now, would you share the same sentiment as TREIZE just alluded, or do you have a different perspective?
I mean, I'm from Sierra Leone, West Africa. I mean, based on Trump principle, and I mean, in most cases, that's why most African want Trump to president do have this, and also, and based on our culture, you can relate. You know?
Hold on, Fanta. Your internet is really breaking up. I don't know if you have your another equipment that is using your internet. Let's go to Tyrone and then come back to you real quick. Okay, Tyrone, please go ahead. And then Roman, I'll have you respond real quick.
Yeah, like my brother TREIZE said, you know, it's a sad state when even in Illinois, when Trump almost won Illinois, 48% voted red. That means Illinois Dems only won this blue state by 4 points. What that tells me is that if the GOP, if the Republicans would have put $100 million or any amount of money in Cook County or Chicago to get their message out, to fight against the propaganda of Project 25, when Trump has openly told them that he did not, that's not his project, that's from the Heritage Foundation. He repeatedly said that, and that became the main narrative, and the other scare tactic narrative became, they're gonna take our freedom. First of all, ain't nobody gonna take my freedom. I die before I go to any change. So if you let somebody take your freedom after being free, you should be in change, right? So another thing is the scare tactic of the Democratic Party. I want to take the woman's reproductive rights and do all of that stuff. Here we are, brother, living in a society where black men and boys in Chicago get murdered at a clip of over 300 to 400 a year. Last year, over 150 black women and children were murdered in Chicago. And you would think that would be a national emergency No, we want to talk about migrants. We want to talk about how we are going to keep the sanctuary cities alive and well, while men and brother Roman know, while black communities, Inglewood, Woodlawn, Lawndale, Roseland, Garfield Park, are all violent infested, disinvested, poverty, unemployment rate, and mass murder happening in these cities and communities across America that's mostly ran by Democrats. On top of that, 18 to 24-year-old young men are without jobs in America, in Chicago. Furthermore, the school systems are pipelines to prisons. Man, the people have spoken, and like our brother TREIZE just said, if the Democrats keep denying what we've said for 60 years about our perpetual disinvestment, and they want to make it about isms and gender, because Romans said isms and gender. In Chicago, Senator, we have over 150 black elected positions. That means from lieutenant governor to county board president to state's attorney to mayor to police chief to 150 black elected positions. We are in control, but yet we are not fixing the communities that the people put them in place to do. If you're gonna, all the issues I just focused on, and Roman just talk about gender, when Roman know himself that groups like ours, we was denied resources to even do violence intervention, reentry, prison reform from Governor J.B. Pritzker and Brandon Johnson alike. They would deny us public safety funds because we don't play the Democratic narrative, but will give billions of dollars to non-citizens who are now attacking and terrorizing black people in these communities. No, Roman, you know God doggone well that is much more than that. And if the Democrats keep talking about anything, they're going to be done, like our brother TREIZE says, for another 12 years. And guess what? Chicago going to go red.
Go ahead, Brother Roman. I know you've been listening quietly.
Yeah, I would like to respond. Well, Brother Tyrone, I like the debate. So,
it's the truth.
The truth is your narrative truth, man. But what I'm wait. I let you talk. Let me talk.
Did I lie? My question.
But again, I let you talk, brother. Let me talk.
I have a question. You said it's a debate. I said to you that I spoke truth. I'm telling you about things that's happening, not things that I'm debating about that's not happening.
I think.
I mean, again, I'll respond. I'll respond to say on my show, and I said it plenty of times, even before it happened, that the resource will dwindle. We got to stop putting Democrats as a whole and put separatism in its right place. Number one, nobody didn't tell Brandon Johnson to do that. No national go on any type of record. Brandon Johnson opened the door and said, come on in. He did it himself, not Kamala Harris. And another thing, when people associate Kamala Harris, people got to understand she's the vice president. That's more to be said, because she got to do what the president, and when you associate the agenda, and a lot of people are associating the agenda, why you're blaming Kamala Harris? And again, you guys are not putting the right blame in this. So let me go further than this. Number one, I don't understand for the life of me. Hold on 1 second. For the life of me, and you can correct me when I'm wrong. When he disrespected Africa, meaning Donald Trump, calling parts of Africa shithole countries, why would you elect a man that would say something like that? Number two, he denied resources to Africa, several African nations. And again, I just don't understand. Now, to answer Mr. Mohammed's question, again, people can get jobs. The Democratic Party had millions, and you can check the record, millions and millions of jobs. You can go to the CHIP Act. Also, Biden has done the pharmaceutical with the insulin that was costing people hundreds and hundreds of dollars. Now it's $35. That's going to go away. Now, when people sit there and say that they didn't do nothing, they didn't speak to the bread and butter issues, they have. People from Ohio got jobs. People in Wisconsin got jobs due to the manufacturing platform that Biden had. So I'll just yield to that because there's plenty more coming. So
Yeah, he said that Trump called Africa a shithole. Now, do you that's a point? And do you think why you think that Africans didn't care about that? Because I can tell you as an African, and I can speak to Tyrone, you can Tyrone, you can go. Yeah, go ahead, Tyrone.
African.
Fanta, can you come in now?
Oh.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. But Tyrone, go ahead. Tyrone, go ahead. I want you to finish that point real quick. Tyrone, go ahead. And then
Fanta can continue. Shithole. African has been a dumping ground for all these European countries, and African is a shithole in that here we are as black men and women with political power and might and descendants from Africa. We allow all these countries and all of these the perspectives and narrative to go over there and mine out and exploit Africa on our watch when we got black elected officials that don't stand for Africa, don't stand for the shithole that Donald Trump talked about. Yes, African and tribalism is as long as time. They have destroyed Africa. They're destroying Africa, and I hope that with Donald Trump being in place and then shows like Center connecting us with our diaspora, our brothers, that we can actually create a real organized front in America to make Africa no longer a damn shithole and a dumping ground for every European foul country and every exploitive from China to from France to Germany to Russia that will exploit Africa for its minerals. It is what he said it is. The fact that he was said that, person shouldn't take it personal. They should say, okay, why is this a dump hole and a shithole? And that's what you not taking in consideration when the people told the Democratic Party across the board that they have acted like some doggone tyrants and some slave holders over the black communities. And we are saying that they are a crappy party that need to be removed and the swamp need to be drained.
Fanta, can you come in? I know what's his name? TREIZE, sorry about that. Let me know. You can put it in the private chat how it's working with your schedule, because I know you and I talked about it. This comment about African being a shithole, I just want to have my quick take on that, and then TREIZE or Fanta, if you want to say something. I think that the whole world understands, including the superpowers, know that Africa is not a shithole. They know that it is the wealthiest continent on the earth. They know that it has the most smartest people and the most ingenuity individuals on the planet. They know that Africa has the most youth population in the world. They know that Africa is on the rise when it comes to economic development. They know that if Africa is left alone, the leaders and its people can do for themselves and become a great continent that everybody will be envy of. However, like you said, Tyrone, a lot of these world leaders and the Western powers have put in place measures so that it can become, or it will be similarly, the shithole that they call it. Russia call it a graveyard because, again, they want to portray Africa like that. Part of the reason, I think, is that so that Black America or the diaspora will not see it fit to go to a shithole or a graveyard. If you hear these world powers talk about Africa like that, why would you want to go there? But I think it's a tactic to keep diasporans away from the motherland because it has all the resources and the space for us to become what we are supposed to become. However, measures has been put in place since slavery and post-slavery with systems like neocolonialism and all, so that Africa can be seen as though, but it is not. So these name callings do not make us who we are. And that's why for me, when I hear this, I don't take it personal. Because as an African, I know the power and the resources in Africa, and I know the importance and significance of Africa to the entire universe and to the entire world. That's just my take on that. Another day we can have this conversation in detail. But as Fanta or Trez, I don't know if you want to have your comment on that.
Can I go since Fanta,
Yes.
if you permit me, since I'm jumping up here in a second?
Yes, go ahead.
I like your positive spin on that conversation. For me, I felt it was the truth. Tell you the truth, I think Trump was just being blunt. Do we have those resources? Do we have all the natural resources? Yeah, but what does that got to do with anything if we don't know how to turn cocoa into coffee, into chocolate? In Ghana, where cocoa is one of the highest producers of cocoa. They showed a farmer, a cocoa farmer that was just testing chocolate for the first time, right? Chocolate cocoa powder has to go to Switzerland and gets transformed in a Western country into chocolate and then sent back to Ghana and sold. Switzerland does not have any farms, right? But they're the ones transforming chocolate. So we need to stop touting this things that we fancy, we see ourselves. That's exactly the Democrat playbook, the victim mindset. We are perpetual victims of neocolonialism. We elect our own leaders. We elect our mayors, our governors, our presidents. We Africans do that. And they don't want to leave power. They don't want to do nothing. In Cameroon, for example, we don't have electricity. We don't have water. We don't have healthcare. Please, what kind of country is that? Cameroon has 60 years of independence, and they don't have water, clean water. Please, what is that? If you go to the border right now in Mexico, you would probably see 10,000 Cameroonians trying to get in the U.S. Is anybody running away from a prosperous country? Would you see people from Rwanda? Would you see people from Namibia, from Botswana at the border? No, because
South Africa.
South Africa, those countries are the countries that are exemplifying this up and coming development that you're talking about. The rest of the other countries, there's corruption. Have you seen the rate of corruption in Africa?
Yeah.
So there's nobody putting a gun. There's not a single white man or West putting a gun on an African person's head and saying that pillage, steal all the resources in your country and send out to the West. There is no reason why Ghana does not have multiple cocoa factories transporting that, transforming that cocoa powder into the different kind of chocolate. There's no reason why Ivory Coast, that's the highest producer, Ethiopia, that's the highest producer of coffee, does not have coffee and tertiary coffee products. America is the highest consumer of coffee. Does America have a single coffee farm? No. So we need to stop with this narrative that we are victims. Trump just told us the truth, and that's why I liked him, right? I voted against him 4 years ago. I voted for Biden, but Biden came. They did the far left progressive agenda. I saw that. I was like sick to my stomach. I was like, this party does not represent me anymore. I cannot identify with this kind of party, right? Coupled with the kind of ambassador that disrespected Cameroon and sent to, I was like, I'm done with this Democrat Party. So I switched over to an independent and said, let me give an opinion, let me give an opportunity and listen to what Trump had to say. Now, does he speak off the cuff? Does he say some of crazy things? But if you listen to it, there's truth to what he's saying. You just need to have the mental capacity to accept that it is the truth. And like I said, I would pay money for Democrats to sunk in this victimhood. I love it. I'll be running out because I got to go to work. I start work at 7, so I have to jump on.
I know. Actually, great. Fanta, I know you've been listening carefully. Please come in. And then I know, Trez, when you get situated and you can come in, you can join us again. But thank you so much, Trez, for your input.
Make sure you link us in Trez and I.
I mean, I totally agree with what Trez said. I totally agree what he said, because I feel like we as African, and especially when anything that comes out of Mr. Trump or President Trump's mouth, we should not take it personal, because President Trump, he always says the truth. And our problem in this country and even back home, people don't like the truth. They, like most people do not want to hear the truth. They always want to hear lies, you know. And Donald Trump, I mean, he don't anything that comes out of his mouth, it is the truth, and we have to accept it. We don't have to take it personal. We just have to find solution to what we can improve, or what can be better, how we can improve ourselves.
People have also said that he's lied on certain occasions on several issues. Like when he said people were eating dogs in Ohio. Do you really believe that people were eating dogs?
You know, Mr. Donald Trump, he always make jokes. You know, like I feel like he was joking at that time. You know, I don't think. Okay. Yeah, I think people. The thing is, people are taking everything very, very personal that comes out of his mouth. There are certain things that we should not take personal when he talks about certain things.
Fanta. You are from Sierra Leone. Of course, you are an American now. Do you think? Why do you think that President Trump will be good for Africans here, the diaspora, and the continent of Africa itself?
I mean, as an African woman, I mean, most of us are here to build our life, to make our life better, so we can provide for our family back home. And I know that President Trump will assist us, and for the people who do not have a job now, for them to have a job, for them to be able to have their documents to start earning a living. I know that that's something that he can do for us.
If I may ask, so I'm sure that you probably voted for Trump. But thanks for giving us your take on that. Really appreciate it. Romain, do you have a point to make regarding what has been shared so far?
Yes. I'm stunned. I am deeply stunned that people would sit there and think that what Trump said is a joke. And it was not a joke when you talk about people in Ohio, especially Haitians in Ohio, that were scared for their life. They have repeated death threats. They had to call the National Guard. And you're talking about it was funny. It was not funny to them. They had to live through that. And it's important for anybody in the leader of the free world to be careful of what you say and how you say it. And for Vance to sit there and tell these repeated lies, they were scared. They were thinking about leaving Ohio.
Okay. So
with that, I got your back, Ms.
With that being,
I could get this one.
No, but I wasn't finished yet. I wasn't finished.
Okay.
They was scared. They was ready to leave Ohio. They sent the National Guard, and these are facts, because of what was said by the Trump administration, that they were eating cats and dogs and eating ducks, making people's lives miserable. And that was far from the truth, because they improved the economy in that area. Now, it's kind of like what's been going on for, and I want to throw this question out there. Let's go by history. What has he done for Africa when he was president back then? In my memory, not a damn thing. Not in my memory, he kind of like, he didn't do anything for Africa but torment and tortured Africa. Now, let's
I don't think he tortured Africa.
Back.
I don't think he taught.
You don't know Africa, Roman.
But I don't think he.
I'm not saying I know Africa. Wait. Let me finish.
What did he do with the black?
No, let me.
What did he do with the black?
Okay, number one, he never, no. I'm about to. If you let me speak and let me talk.
You just throwed it out there.
Okay, let him finish.
What did he do with
let me finish. You're okay. I never interrupted you,
man,
or anybody. No, I never interrupted you. But let me talk. Then let me finish, and then I will quietly, hear you out.
Yeah. He's muted. So go ahead, Roman.
What I'm saying is, for Trump to say these things about Africa didn't give Africa credit that Clinton did, like Obama did, and Biden is about to do the same thing because they were in debt with the U.S. trade. With that being said, I asked the question, what did the Trump administration that denied Africa credit on a blank slate? He denied them. He didn't give them credit, none whatsoever. Okay. So my question is, what has he done that was so significant to Africa,
right? That
the Democrats can take notice and try to implement it? I mute my mic.
Right. Okay. No, you're fine. If you heard the brother that spoke earlier, TREIZE, he gave a typical example of what a Republican president, of course, said about Africa. He said, yeah, Trump said this, and that's the truth. And I say, for him from Africa, from him being an African, originally being an African and Cameroon at that, he knows the problems there. And he thinks that African problems are solely the responsibility of Africans and African leaders. So he's not wanting and looking forward to any foreign leader to help Africa. So whether you
and I respect that, Senna, and I will say the same thing about Chicago. Chicago leaders, we're our own worst enemy. And when you talk about these leaders,
so fine.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I'm saying I was just trying to, respond directly to your question that says, what has Trump done? And I think that this conversation, even though, yes, a lot of Africans, again, as I know, on the continent, even prayed for Trump, perhaps more than Americans did. I mean, and here is why. A lot of African countries are religious, folks, right, whether Christian or Muslim. That's the two dominant religions on the continent, and they take politics very seriously because everything around us, everything in Africa revolves around politics and our leaders, and so we take the African people take their moral lives very, very seriously, family values, and so. TREIZE was trying to speak to that Africans prioritize family values over anything. You can call us all the names in the books, every kind of negative name out there you want. You can not give us money or not care about Africa. We don't really actually looking for money. All we want is leave us alone. And if you heard what TREIZE was saying, he said he thinks that Trump will let Africa be. Do for yourself what you can. We're not trying to interfere. The reverse for Democrats, though, is that they want to interfere in Africa affairs in ways that he thinks that will not help Africa. So I think that was just my point or my response to that question of yours. Okay. Now, I want us to go to, let's look at the elections itself. Do you think, you said America, statement, the voting pattern show that America did not want a female person to be a female to become president. Do you think if it was Joe Biden or any other, let's say, Democrat black leader, oh no, not Democrat black, but Democrat male leader, you think he would have performed better with Trump, Romain?
My answer would be yes, he would have performed better.
And who would have been, who do you think is out there that would have done so in the Democratic Party?
I would say you have Joe Moore, the governor from Maryland. He's respected by both Democrats and Republicans. I think you have several up and coming Democrats that can potentially become president. And I think a lot of people would, it's not just one side or the other. They listen to both sides. And one of the things, go ahead, I'm sorry.
In your opinion, do you think that the Democrats run a campaign that spoke to the need of the people, especially the economy? In your opinion?
In my opinion, yes. And the reason why I say that is because, number one, they when people were saying they didn't talk about the bread and butter issues, then you turn around and here are the bread and butter issues, talking about small business, particularly small Black businesses, giving them tax cuts. Then you talk about housing, giving them first-time home buyers credit. You have to look at this from this way. We're looking at a Reaganomics or a Reagan map, so to speak. If you look at Mondale versus Ronald Reagan back in, I think, 83 or something like that, Mondale only had 3 electoral votes, and Ronald Reagan was a landslide. And this is not similar because, of course, Kamala Harris had 200 and I think 27 or 26 electoral college votes. But the same question, did we talk about the bread and butter issues? Back then, they were looking at how Reagan was actor, very well known, very charismatic, funny, and he was the type of person that you will grab a beer with. Was he talking about the problems? But he came up with the slogan, same as Trump. Are you better off than 4 years ago? Same thing. And that resonated with people. Same thing that happened with Trump. Make America Great Again. That originated from Ronald Reagan. What I'm saying in essence is the apple doesn't fall far from the tree here. And what I mean by that is when you discuss Reaganomics, it was horrendous in the Black community.
Okay.
Reaganomics. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I think you've made your point, and so you're saying that the Democrats run a campaign that spoke well enough to the issue, to the economy and what people were feeling in their pockets.
Yes, and she was thinking, and she was just layman's terms and bullet points, because I know everybody else want to chime in here. Kamala Harris wanted to legalize federally marijuana. That was her first agenda, and people can look that up. Number 2, the housing. She wanted to create more affordable housing. Number 3, she wanted to set more incentives for Black entrepreneurs. Number 5, and she wanted to do more for the diaspora as well. Now, one of the other things, just right quick, and then I'll shut up. Going back to Reaganomics. Reaganomics is kind of like Trumponomics. You give the rich their cut, and it's supposed to trickle down to the poor. It never trickles down to the poor. And that's why it's horrendous on middle class and poor people. And I want people to hear me out here, because once you get the tax cut to the wealthy, they're going to keep it in their pocket. Just like, and follow me here, look at what's happening right now. All the warehouses and people with products, they're not giving people Christmas bonuses because of the tariffs that's coming up in the Trump administration. They're preparing for that. They're preparing to lay people off. Even Walmart is preparing for that. They're reducing their imports right about now. So, like I said before, and I'll say this again. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Roman, I just want to have someone chime in, to the points. You've made brilliant points, right? And I know Tyrone's been waiting. Quick question for you, and I just really, really want you to respond to this quickly. What you said, Kamala had plans for the diaspora. Do you know specifically what that is? Can you say that? If not, that's fine. I just wanted to be sure.
It was quite similar to what you and I have talked about off air, and that includes education for the diaspora, and also give incentives and scholarships to the diaspora as well.
Okay, and especially people who are seeking asylum, people who are coming out of maybe
correct, yes,
countries and just coming
yes,
and struggling with age. Okay. Struggling with resources. Okay, so FYI, the going to break here in the internet. Okay, in spite of what you said about Ohio, what Trump said about Ohio, which you alluded to, and the effects that it had on the people of Ohio, Trump won Ohio. Okay, so let's get that clear. Okay, in spite of everything you said and how his comment caused all kinds of mayhem and panic and fear, he still won that state. So again, we want to see are people really paying attention to those words or looking at their bottom line? And here is where I want Tyrone to come in. Go ahead, Tyrone. Fanta, I know you've been quiet for some time. I have a question for you regarding health and women and respect for women. When it comes to Trump, people say he doesn't respect women. As a woman, I'd like you to respond to that. But go ahead, Tyrone.
First of all, man, Democrats had the presidency for 12 years. Trump had it for 4. Are we better because of the Obamas, the Clintons, and the Bidens? Absolutely not. And furthermore, the mandate is that how do you want us to vote you back in office to do what you promised them to do for us when we don't see any evidence of that while you're in office? Furthermore, ain't no way in the world, bro, you can openly, honestly sit here with a 70% unemployment rate for 18 to 24-year-olds. You talking about Africa, bro, you need to be talking about who gonna roll up and shoot your car up. In this city right here, you talking about the violence, the terroristic effect, the poverty, and all the things. Man, these people here, bro, our elected officials are personally responsible. You said it. You can talk about Trump all you want to talk about Trump, but all politics are local. And Trump is a national president that you cannot, even in Baltimore. I went to Baltimore. Baltimore is ran by Democrats. It's raggedy, bro. Every one of our cities, especially the ones that are inundated with non-citizen migrants, illegals. How do you justify, Roman, putting non-citizens that we don't know their language, they don't know our culture, into already disinvested neighborhoods? How do you expect us to act when you saw me? I've argued, I went to jail, and the sentiment of the people to say, hey, if you got $1 billion for migrants, you better have $1 billion for Inglewood. We've seen none of that, bro. We've seen none of that exchange for what they've done. You can say Brandon didn't do it, but Brandon went to the White House to ask for more money to care for the migrants. The first 51 million, Brother Roman, had no allocations for Black communities to even insulate themselves from what we was about to receive. If we, the politicians, work for the people, Senator, how is it that the politicians don't listen to the people when the people is telling them what they want? Absolutely. This is why Democrats with their crybaby punk butts, and I'm happy to know that they some crybaby. I thought they were strong. They some crybabies. They ran this city. They ran the government for 12 to 16 years. And we have no real change. There's no real prison reform. Nobody can tell me nothing about prison. I did 21 years. And I'm in the streets on violence prevention. I deal with the little shooter, drillers, and sliders that have no respect for politicians or me or you, Roman, if we don't do for them. You cannot feed the wolves and then expect them to act like sheep. It's not gonna happen, bro. I like what that brother TREIZE said, and I kind of like this trend of them Democrats soaking in their loss, and they was all arrogant at first. Now I like the humility. I hope that's God's way of smacking them upside their head. But I got a feeling that they like Roman. They all like Roman. They making excuses. You ask him a question. Absolutely, Senator. It has not been the issues. They didn't speak to our issue. You know, Roman, they didn't speak to black men. You know, black men, this whole world is increasingly heterophobic. You can't even be a strong black man in a Democratic-led party. Of genderism, feminism, and all of the other stuff that you can't speak to, even to the point of being a black man running his household and a family and having a viable income to even support it. Bro, that's what the Republicans spoke to across the board. Democrats have nothing for black men, especially returning citizens. We are the most perpetually discriminated and violated group of class of individuals in the country, bro, in every city. And we have, under the Clinton 94 crime bill, we ushered in mass incarceration of black men and boys under Joe Biden as well. Trump released thousands of men under the First Step Act. And Trump bailed out, bro, and you failed to mention that, and you probably belong to a HBCU. Trump bailed out HBCUs. He gets no credit for what he has done for black communities. You'll find any little thing in negative. I ask you, what good have Trump done for black people? You probably would never say anything because you following the same Democratic line that got them removed from office, and they're going to probably lose the House too if they haven't already. And it's going to be the same thing for the next 8 years. So get ready, y'all. Poverty is on its way. And in most cases, the ones that has enjoyed these plus jobs and social programs as Democrats is over with, Senator.
Can I respond? Can I respond if possible?
No, you can't respond. It's Fanta time.
Can you hold on to that? I want to find out to come in.
Yeah, I can hold on, but can you come back to me?
I'll come back to you right after Fanta. Fanta, again, it's mainstream has purported and promoted a lot of this, narrative that Trump does not respect women, and wants to control, and the Republican Party wants to control women's body. As a woman, your take on that, please.
Okay, so I think when it comes to that, I do not agree with the Trump administration because as a woman as I am, I don't want anyone to control me what to do with my body. Okay, for example, like if I said, okay, I got pregnant and I'm like, okay, I don't think I'm ready to have a baby. Or maybe it was just an incident that happened, it was unplanned. I don't think the administration have the right to tell me what to do with my body. Because if you think about it, long time run, like who's going to take care of my baby? What about if I'm not financially stable? What about if whoever I was dealing with do not want a baby? It's like, it's more suffering at the end of the day. So I don't think they should have right to instruct women what to do with their body.
So can I say in response to that on that note,
Wait. So no, I have a follow-up question. I have a follow-up question for Fanta. So you're saying for that you disagree with Trump on that policy? I mean, with that ideology, right?
Correct.
Okay. Do you think also that narrative has been pushed to say that the Republican and Trump are going to make abortion illegal, whether in all stages? It doesn't matter if it's incest or rape. Do you believe that's what's going to happen? Whether you're raped or not, you still have to keep your baby. You believe that that's what's going to happen?
I hope that will not be the case. I won't agree to it. Yeah.
Okay. Right. But so that is your fear when it comes to President Trump's administration. All right, Tyrone, go ahead. Mm-hmm. And thank you so much, Fanta, for sharing
I've had this conversation with
Tyrone, go ahead.
Our beautiful sisters across the country. And it comes back to we have a double standard, because those same women who want to have the right to their bodies and what their body, to abort a child without even asking me if I impregnated her. She don't have to ask me, baby, what you think about me getting rid of this baby? I could just go do it. First of all, that's disrespectful for one, because we both made that act we had in pleasure or lust or love. We did it together. Furthermore, when they have the baby and decide to keep it without asking me, then you turn around and say, I don't have the right to my money. Hey, hold on. You had the right to keep it or kill it or decide what you're going to do with it. But you also think you have the right for me to take care of it when you decided that you had the right to keep it. So you can't have it both. They can't have it both ways. And it's been this discussion. That's why it's a divide with the issue. Not that a woman don't have a right to choose, but it stands right now. We have the right to our vote. You have Democrats that will openly say that a man can cut his penis off and have the right to say he a woman. They have a woman that could kill the womb, the life in her womb. But then if you say you support Trump and you have a right to your vote, they upset and mad at you because you didn't choose the way they chose. And then figure out all excuses why we voted wrong, but they voting right. So with that being said, to my sister, you are absolutely right, Sister Fanta. You have a right to your body and your choice. But I also have lectured to Sister, absence of rape and incest. You have 61 forms of birth control, Senator.
All right. Romaine, we wanted to get back to you right.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I would like to.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, I would like to respond to the abortion issue. The infant mortality rate among Black women and African in the diaspora is astronomical. And what I think Tyrone was about to get to is my concern is rape, incest, and something that you don't control. Now, again, you cannot plan life. Things happen in life. You make mistakes in life. And for that one night stand or something happened, you had a long-term boyfriend or something and you gave him a chance and it didn't work out. And they expect you to take care of that responsibility. That's not fair to you as a woman. Now, who am I as a man to tell a woman what she can and cannot do with her own body? I cannot get pregnant. So it's up to them, the woman, and especially the Black woman who suffers the most during pregnancy. The Black woman that dies on the table when it comes to that. And sometimes, because of the shape of a Black woman and how they carry a baby, sometimes it's out of the uterus. and they expect you to go through with it. That's not fair to you. So that's a big problem that we have, because we're also looking at population. Let's start thinking that way, because they know Black people are itching up in the population. They know Africans are, Haitians are, Hispanics are. Now, I'm going to pivot to that and to answer my brother Tyrone Muhammad. The number one thing that you said that I think was incorrect, the Democrats was not in for 12 years. They only been in for 4.
No, sir.
So, hold on. Because you got to look at it. You had Obama.
That's 8. Obama's 8.
Okay, I know. But then you had Trump. So how is that how's that 12 years? That's not 12 years. You had within those 4 years. You did. So hold on. I let you talk, brother. Let me talk.
Your numbers are
no, let me talk.
Roman,
yeah.
Hold on 1 second. You have a point. You said you have a point. 8 years and then Trump, Biden, no, 8 years for Obama, 4 for the following 4 was for Trump. Tyrone says that's not accurate. Let him quickly say why it's not accurate, and then you can continue. I just want to know why, because that is accurate. What you're saying is the truth.
He said it wasn't. I said they've been in office for 12 years to 4. Obama, you saying what I'm saying? 8 years, and then Joe Biden's 4. I'm telling you, okay. You 8 and 4 is 12.
Okay, good. Okay,
are you now? Let me put it this way. You're not saying 12 consecutive years, are you?
No, I'm not saying 12 consecutive years. I'm only saying.
Well, that's the only thing I wanted to know, because it wasn't.
Y'all had it for 12 years versus Trump's 4. You want to talk about Trump 4 years? Obama had 8.
But you saying, but I'm not going to get into that issue yet.
What you mean you don't want to get into it? You talking about numbers versus 4 years versus 12. You still do more roman in 8 and 12 years.
I don't know. Maybe I need to go to math class here, because
Romain, do you believe that Americans are better off now than when they were than 4 years ago?
Yes.
Economically.
Yes. Okay. And I was about to get to.
Go ahead.
I was about to get to Tyrone's question. Again, there was a four-year break with the Trump administration. Then Biden took over. I was going to answer your question. You asked me a direct question. What policy do I like about Trump? And I would say, and I have proof to back it up, and that was the immigration policy. The immigration policy got out of hand. And the reason it got out of hand is because he wanted to build the wall. And for some reason, and you have to look this up, you have to look at the Bush administration that did the wall first. Then the Obamas did the wall, and it kind of lapsed. And he wanted to continue that, but because of funding and stuff, so forth and so on. So that's a policy that I agreed with. How they handled that policy, I do not agree with. But that's to answer your question. Now, I would basically say about localism. When the brother talked about Africa, there's no reason, because they have a lot of resources and it's a lot of corruption going on. Remember, Chicago has been corrupt for a very long time. You got to go to the Vadoliak situation, the Ed Burke situation. You talk about
Democrats.
But
all those Democrats wrong.
again, I'm letting you speak.
But listen,
Let me talk. Let me finish the point.
Aren't they Democrats though?
The answer is yeah,
Okay.
but I was going to get to that.
Okay.
Fanta, I don't want us to leave. I don't want us to. This is not just a Tyrone and Romain debate. Fanta, you've been listening quietly. Is there any comment that you want to add? That way, I'm sure I'm not overlooking that. Just let me know.
No, there's no comment right now.
You have any? Oh, there's no, okay,
No
great.
comments
Now,
right now.
having said, okay, great. And I know that, gentlemen, I know you guys have made the points with regards to you believe, Romain, that Americans are better off in when it comes to the economy than for I'll say no. What? 8 years ago? No, 4 years ago. Sorry, because this
let me explain here for a minute. The Biden administration.
You said that.
Well, I was going to explain.
No,
the Biden
I'm
administration.
saying that you were saying that.
Okay, I think there's a delay, so I'm trying to get your question in. So go ahead.
No,
you were asking the question, Senator. So go ahead.
No, I was just trying to compare the economies and how Americans economically are doing today versus Trump's economy is what I'm trying to compare.
Okay, so we have to look at this logically. During the Biden administration, it was part of the pandemic, and he got us out of it. No matter how you look at it, he got us out of it. The economy, and you just got to people got to understand. The 2023 was the post-pandemic. We're really starting getting our lives back to normal here. That's why the economy and the inflation is taking a long time, and these corporations took advantage of that. So I agree with the bread and butter issues, don't get me wrong, but we're not looking at what the pandemic has created, and we have to struggle to get out of that pandemic in order to get the prices right. You see what I'm saying? Because a lot of people go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, your point is made. It's 12 minutes past 7, and we've been getting into the meat of things when it comes to why Trump won, and we also looked at the statement that America has sent to the world and across this nation by electing Donald Trump overwhelmingly. And I think this is something that nobody expected, and both parties, they were not even looking forward to this or expecting this. So I just wanted to say, we have a few minutes to wrap this conversation up. There'll be more times in this particular era, or what has happened in America is a topic that will be discussed for the rest of the year, and until Trump literally takes office. I think that everybody's in anticipation of what he's coming to do with the economy, geopolitics, and of course, these two main areas, the economy and geopolitics. And I think the whole world is watching, Americans are watching and anticipating as well. But I want to take this few minutes before we wrap up to also give our audience opportunity to know who our guests are in detail. I know that, Tyrone, you're running for Senate. You have ambitions. I think you don't, not as ambitions, but you are running to become a United States Senate. That is a huge goal. It's a huge endeavor. And we would like to know more about it. Why are you doing it? And maybe just give us a glimpse of how things are looking for you now. Go ahead, Trump. I said Trump. I don't know why I keep calling you Trump, but Tyrone. I think it's T. Both start with T. So go ahead.
Maybe Trump do what he's supposed to do for the community. So listen, it's like anything. My motto and our motto at ECCSC is it's going to take us to save us. The very notion that we sitting around here debating about politicians that works for us. We sent them to office to work for us. I feel that I've always worked for the people anyway. I'm a community servant. I'm a community servant, a community advocate. So this is not a natural thing for me to do just to push against the establishment. That's why I'm running as a United States Senate independent in Illinois. To just say that, like, people like Dick Durbin, these are juggernauts. These are Democrats who've been in office. I think 90 something that Durbin been in office since 1990 something. I'm not sure the exact date. But yet these people don't walk in our neighborhood center. They don't ever show up until vote time. And that's the problem even with the Democratic Party. So my run for United States Senate is a run to motivate the masses and youth, as someone who served 21 years in prison, just to have the audacity to act like or to do something like that. I win anyway. Win or lose, I win, because now my goal is to be on the stage with these hypocrites and to be able to identify them and talk to the people about what they haven't done for them, and these bourgeoisie, boule class of individuals who take our vote for granted. And that's why we're having the situation we're dealing with right now, because even as we speak to our brothers like Roman, we still taking the vote for granted, because now it's only going to increase now that we see that the Democrats have no remorse or even any empathy or even any compassion about how the people has voted across the country. He daggone near painted the whole country red. If that's not a testament for a mandate for President Trump, I don't know what is, in the fact that this man has did something no other former president has ever done. And he has a mandate from the people to continue to do what he's doing.
Are you running as a Republican or Democrat? No, obviously not Democrat, independent or Republican.
Real quick. I'm running as an independent. Me, myself personally, I could never line up with Democrat or Republican because it's impossible. It's oxymoronic. That's why you got Brother Roman and others fighting for party stuff. I fight for the people. So what I'm saying is it's oxymoronic to be the United States of America, but they divided between parties. You can't be united if I'm a Republican and you're a Democrat and truth and God does not serve the nation. That's what's not happening. So we will continue to go down, down, down until we fix this two-party system. So I'm running as an independent and hope to smack both the parties upside the head and say, listen to the people.
America is always going to be ruled by this two-party state. I mean, America is always going to be a two-party state. It's either going to be Republican or Democrat. You think that that's going to change at any time, Tyrone?
Well, my goal is to change it as the United States senator and then build on it, because the shock of the hour is near, and the shock of the hour is a grievous thing, especially if somebody like me win and fight hard enough for that seat, because it would become a national movement anyway.
All right. Fanta, thank you so much for sharing, Tyrone. We'll be wrapping up in a few minutes. But Fanta, you are into wellness, and tell us about your journey. Give us a brief background about your journey into that space, and are you offering services for people? Tell us a little bit about it, please.
So I am not offering any services, but I mean, if anyone have questions, I'm willing to give my experience. And I mean, for the past 3 years, I've been very focused in wellness, and a lot has changed. And I have transformed my body. And I mean, based on experience and what I've been doing, and it's very benefits for myself and as a young lady as I am, and I have a long way to go. So for me, it's better for us to take care of our body, because without good health, we cannot do anything else. So and we only have one body. So that's why I'm all the way out there. Even I have a very busy schedule, busy life, but I do still make time for myself and to stay healthy. And I'm willing to, and in the future, like I want to do more of like wellness activities, but not at the moment. I still have few things to do, but I just want to advise you all to take your health very important, because I've really transformed in the last 3 years.
And thank you for sharing, because I've been following you on social media, and I see the transformation. I've been knowing you for a long time. So the courage for you to take on this journey, I guess I'm just wondering what prompted you, what motivated you, because we've seen a lot of ladies, not just ladies, but people who, we keep procrastinating. Oh, I got to take my mental health seriously. I got to take my health seriously. I got to work out. But a lot of times work comes in, right? The hustle and bustle in this country comes in, and we are not able to follow through some of these wellness practices that would overall help our mental health and our well-being. What pushed you, if anything, into taking the effort to becoming the new Fanta was saying?
I mean, I'm going to be honest. I was not a healthy woman. And I came to realize that I need to make some changes in my life. And you know how that is, being a mom and doing all these other responsibilities a lot. So despite all that, I made time in between. I'm like, I have to do this for myself. I have to do this for myself. I need to change for my health. I need to change my health. I want to be healthy.
Did it mean you had to cut down eating out and maybe just eating junk food? If you were eating junk food and starting to cook at home, paying attention to your meal, those type of details, how important and significant were those details to you in this journey?
Well, my first step, what I did was I seek for professional help, like professionals who are into wellness, and that's how I start off. And then I goes according to their plans, and then I have to do the work myself, which was really hard. And it's not easy, but you just have to stay consistent. I mean, whatever you want to do in this life, you have to be consistent.
Right. Thank you. So much for sharing. So for anyone that's out there that's struggling to stop.
Yes.
Okay, I'm sorry. I think we had a break today. We've had a very bad internet connectivity today, so please pardon us for this one, for this episode. Hopefully we'll get it fixed by the next one. And next week, Tuesday, we'll be here talking about chess. There's going to be an international chess competition in America. We have Africans coming here to compete in America for a huge chess competition. So stay tuned. We're going to learn more about that. We have, I think, about 5 or 6 people coming from different African countries. So it's going to be an interesting one. So next week, Tuesday, 6 p.m., we'll be here to talk about that chess competition that is coming up next year. But we'll talk about it next week, Tuesday, 6 p.m. on the show. Romain, I know, of course, you have one of the biggest talk shows in the city of Chicago with a reputable organization, radio station.
Right.
Hey, everybody knows Intellectual Radio Station in Chicago. The Drive. You've had all kinds of significant, prominent people in the city of Chicago, probably in the state of Illinois. You've been doing this for so many years, if not decades. Tell us
decades
how that is going and that is going and what's next for Romain.
Okay, well, first off, I want to thank you, Senna, for inviting me. I really appreciate it, and I wanted to thank you so much for inviting me. Second, The Drive at 5 that airs Mondays at 5 p.m. Central Standard Time on intellectualradio.com/iHeart radio station. And I will give my brother a plug, Tyrone Muhammad. He also has a show on intellectualradio.com. I want to say this very quickly, and I know we're running out of time. The Democratic Party is not perfect. no party is perfect. We all make mistakes, and sometimes it's hard for 4 years to do what needs to be done, especially the mess that that you have to clean up from the prior administration. The Republicans can say that about the Democrats as well. I think right now we're at a crossroads, and where that crossroads will lead to us, we don't know yet. And it's like to be continued. And right now, I would say I would like to come back and let you know my analysis and see what's going to happen in the next couple of months.
All right, that's great. So you have, but before that though, are you optimistic that the Democrat Party would return by the next 4 years and compete enough to probably take back the presidency?
I think we're if you look at the statistics now at the House and the Senate, I think the next go round in 2025, I think we are very hopeful that we can take the Senate and the House next go round. Yes. And eventually with the presidency. However, we got to do some soul searching with the presidency. I think Kamala Harris did a fantastic job, and I would like to see more of her. I will also like to see a guy in Maryland, Joe Moore, to be like the party leader, because if you really look at his stats and you really look at his record, I think the country will love Joe Moore.
Right. Let me stay with you for another 2 minutes to give you the opportunity to, educate audience and folks, or at least inform the audience what you think were some of the mistakes, if there were, in your opinion, during the Kamala Harris campaign, which is why, which cost her the elections.
Okay, can you repeat that question, because it was a little audible? Can you repeat the question?
I'm sorry. Yes, it's been a challenge this evening, but okay, I'll repeat that. What I'm saying is, in your opinion, do you think that there were some mistakes during the Kamala Harris campaign which cost her the elections?
Of course, there was mistakes that was made. I would say we didn't.
Do you identify any of these mistakes?
I'm sorry, I can't hear that other question.
I'm saying, can you mention in bullet points some of these mistakes because of time?
Yes, I was going to get to that. Number one is they needed to address the transgender. The ad that Trump was running, that hit us really hard, and we didn't get a chance to address it, and it needs to be addressed. We didn't answer to the lies and stuff. It's like this. They were throwing the kitchen sink at us and see what lands, and we didn't address that landing. And we had a good takeoff, but the landing we got to start working on. We had a lot of issues. The transgender issue really hurt us. And the problem is she never really addressed it, and she needed to. The advisors team said, you're going to tick off these people and we need their vote and stuff like that. Sometimes you got to be brutally honest, and that's what Tyrone was talking about. However, it's how you say it. It's not the way you say it, it's how you say it.
Did you believe that you said, okay, great point. Thanks for at least pointing out some of the mistakes. And I think that people were talking, people have mentioned different mistakes that her party committed. Some say that, hey, perhaps Joe Biden should have resigned a long time ago so that primaries would have been held, so that they would have someone to lead the party. So a lot of things have been identified.
Can I
So
address
thanks
that
for pointing out.
just a couple of seconds to address that? Just let me put it this way. Biden was put in a position, damn if you do, damn if you don't situation with the Democratic Party. So when people sit there and say, well, he should have done this and he should have done, he's the damn president of the United States. People elected him. So he can do whatever he wanted to do. But I understand what the party was saying. But guess what? You get what you asked for. So they said, no, Sleepy Joe, blah, 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 blah. And it bit them on the ass.
Okay, great. Tyrone, people are saying that Trump won against Kamala and also won against Hillary. So essentially, he couldn't beat a Democrat man. He can only beat the women. It speaks to his weakness, whatever. Can you allude to that real quick?
I just think it's an absolute insult when every man in this world come through the womb of a woman. So it's easy to make, and I have mothers and a bunch of aunties, and I have a bunch of people that I look up that are women. So to only make most of this about gender and that black men don't respect black women, when in fact, man, she has the whitest family I've ever seen. So here's black people defending a so-called black woman who don't even have a black husband, who don't even have a black man telling me, a black man, about who I am and what I am, when she's been lost her way. And partly the reason she lost is once she opened her mouth and said, I would never just do nothing for black people. The Democratic Party do everything for Asians, hate crimes. They do everything for the LGBTQ community. Obama brought in and ushered in gay marriage. They do something for everybody, but except black people. We built this country, and our ancestors' blood is soaked in this soil, yet you have the audacity to say the most marginalized class cast of individuals and human beings in America, you have nothing specifically for them. Man, y'all got to stop playing center. And the reality is stop giving these losers all the time in the world to make excuses. They losers. They don't get this much time on the screen. And I'm going to start now that I know that they don't have the humility or the discipline to take their licks. I did 21 years, Senator. I did 21 years in prison. If I made it an excuse that it was the police, it was the this, and I went this and this, and they ain't give me no job, and I came home and couldn't get no housing, they'll look at me like I'm crazy, the same way they look at every ex-felon that come home and they can't get themselves back on their feet. Here's a whole here's a whole Democratic Party that lost nationally, bro, that has to say something to their policies. Their policies are not being looked at. That's why if you ask one Democrat operative and another Democrat operative, they're going to have 3 or 4 different opinions as to why they lost. They really won't simply say that your pompous, your bourgeoisie, your highfalutin attitude has violated the people, when really they only just want to know that they can buy some milk, they can buy some gas, they can get their kids in a proper school without being talked about their genitals at 5 years old, and they can figure out how to come to and fro from school to their home without being murdered. See, the bottom line issues, the Democrats can't even run off 10 reasons and 10 issues why black men specifically and Americans in general didn't vote Black Democrat hook, line, and sinker. The hook, line, and sinker is over with. We not vote. This generation is not voting the way their grandmothers voted no more. So you can't bring Megan Thee Stallion and Beyonce do not speak for the issues. Here's billionaires. They bring billionaires. This shows you the disconnect. They bring billionaires like Oprah. They bring Beyonce. They bring Barack Obama, who chastised black men when black men don't see him as no idea of masculinity, or even see him as a person who can actually speak for us, because we don't feel he did nothing for us. So please, man, we have to stop giving losers all this time. And that's what I'm going to do. Every time I see Democrats crying, I'm going to say, sit y'all losing ass down and let the people spoke already. Stop disrespecting the people voice. That's what they're doing right now, bro. They disrespecting the people voice, and it shows during the election. You don't have to say nothing else, Senator. They can pontificate and ponder as to why they lost. The election results show from every demographic, from black to Latinos to women to white women to black women, that they lost across the board.
Wow. I think if it were a debate, I would say we can comfortably say, well, we all know who won the debate. If it were a debate, but it's not a debate. It has been a conversation. But on this platform, it's I think we've learned a lot. We've heard both we've heard all the opinions. TYRONE, Romain, Fanta, thank you all for coming. I know TREIZE, you had to go to work and you were watching us. We really appreciate you. And I know you've given your comments, your last comments, but we still have to end with your closing remarks. So let's start quickly with Fanta. No, we're going to end with Fanta. Fanta she will close us, our beautiful queen on the show. She's the only queen on the show today. So she will give us her closing remarks. TYRONE, 30 seconds, your closing remarks, please.
Man, I'm so grateful, bro, and thank you as always, man. And I will be going to Ghana. I guess you'll be taking me to Ghana or Nigeria. I don't know. Anywhere in Africa is gonna be great for me. But I just want to say, man, that thank you for always having a progressive mind about how you view and look at things. And if we're gonna win, we most definitely have to connect back to to Africa as descendants of slaves, because we're not African Americans, we're actually American Africans. And I really think we need to start looking at that. We're not African American. We don't have a continent to call our own necessarily. And we don't have the necessary respect from our African brothers, because absolutely we've been colonialized in America. And some of us act like that in every aspect. And we act like we are not in slavery over here, just because a few of us have a little education and a nice paying job. But if the people in the masses are suffering and struggling in America, then the whole people is struggling and suffering. And this is the message that they miss, bro. They miss this message because they only thinking about their own health and wellness. But what they forget is that no matter how wealthy you become, no matter how good your life is, what type of house you live in, if I'm starving and I kick your door in and take what you work for, then you are just as much a victim of your own success. So we have to bring everybody up. The tide must rise, and that's been the problem with the Democrats. Only a select few ever rise in the democratic society, and that's why we have to be intentional about who we select or elect for these political office, because if they're not speaking for the people, then they can't. Nobody is going to beat me on the ground and in the communities and knocking on doors and hugging babies and walking dogs. Nobody would beat me doing that, because I am that. That's who we are. I'm authentic to my community and my people. So that's why they couldn't beat me, no way. But here we go. Let's make it official, and let's build and keep growing, man. And let's change these elected office and kick them all out. They all got to go. Thank you.
Thank you. And I'm definitely taking you to Africa. We're doing it next year. So we're going to Ghana for sure. And TREIZE says he wants to be on the show with you. He says, brother, let's do this. So yes, I think that that would be done. And then we had his brother. He says, brother, was on YouTube. He says, right on, brother TYRONE. And then Jamil says, love to hear you talk, Tyrone. You truly have an inspirational voice, Tyrone. I must say that. And so keep inspiring the community the best way that you can. And everybody's watching. And so you've made a brother here on the show, TREIZE. So we will put something together and get you on this platform so we can handle some topics regarding the diaspora, the Chicago and whatnot. Even men, some of the issues that men go through. And I think you all have, great voices in the community. So we'll be looking forward to having you two on something very soon. So we'll cook it. We'll make it happen. Romain, I know you have, please, your quick remarks. I know it was supposed to be quick. Tyrone took it a bit further, but if you can make it quick for us, I'm not going to cut you, but I want you to wrap it up for us in your closing remarks, please.
Just like Tyrone's show, it always extends a long time. But I'll just end it on this note. To hear me further, go to intellectualradio.com/iHeart radio station. The Drive at 5, Mondays, 5 p.m. Central Standard Time. We got a variety of topics, including sometimes me ranting and raving, and talking about issues. Now, one thing, and I will be very quick about, that we need to discuss, and it needs to be front and center, and that's what's going on in Haiti. We need to start talking about what's going on in Haiti, because the president just left Haiti and now is back at a very chaotic state. And we need to, and I think right now we're so looking at the Gaza, we're not looking at Haiti, and they're beyond the famine state, and we need to do that. People are living in cinder blocks. They're scared for their lives. So we got to start talking about what's going on in Haiti and our Haitian brothers and sisters.
Absolutely. That's brilliant. Thank you so much, Romain. Fanta, please.
Well, first off, I just wanted to say thank you for the invite, and also I just want everyone to be positive out there. And even though things are not going the way we want things to go, but we always have to keep a positive mindset and hope for the betterment of America.
She kept it nice and sweet, clean. Thank you so much, Fanta. And Tyrone, you have a website people can check you out and follow you and support you if they want to?
Yes, ECCSC.org, TyroneMuhammad.com, TyroneMuhammad.com, and I'm at TyroneForSenate.us, TyroneForSenate.us.
Okay. All right. Well, on that note, we want to thank everyone for coming on the show and supporting this conversation. We wanted to look at the Americans' election and how Donald Trump won it overwhelmingly, made history, which no one expected, no one saw coming, not even the most expert and most historic, scholarly academia pundits out there was able to predict this. So if it's God's doing or if it's just coincidence, we should see. We should see in the days to come, in the years to come. Thank you again. Thank you, special thanks to my guest TREIZE, Romain, and Romain, Tyrone, and Fanta for being on the show, and for all those who contributed. We did not open the phone lines. That escaped us. Hopefully next week when we come on to talk about the tournaments, the chess tournament Tuesday, we'll be able to share your opinion. On that note, this has been Senna, aka Alinko, with the Progressive Mind Show. We'll be back here next week, Tuesday.
I'm here with the man himself, the African giant, Burna Boy, and I want to ask you, why is it important?
Well, he's at the back. I'll introduce you to him.